All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I'd also like to give double honors to my elders, bishops, and apostles of Great Millstone that do root well. And I would like to say peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, to the hopeful elect in the 1/3. And Adon Ratazah, this lesson will be edifying as well as exhorting to the sincere sheep of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, and the Wada Abanawa Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Forgive me the inspiration to do this lesson. And as the title reads, Babylon wants your brain. Okay. And this is something that I was speaking to myself earlier. All right. While, thinking about, our current situation, our condition, and what we deal with even on a day-to-day basis in Babylon, waiting to be delivered. All right. And this is why the scriptures refer to this current captivity as New Egypt. All right. This is a modern day Egypt for us because it's symbolizing our bondage. And we are in bondage. We are in bondage physically, even though we have the right to travel, which that's a whole topic. We're in bondage mentally and spiritually. And this is why the truth is so important to us as Israelites, okay? Because we are being freed in our spirit as well as in our mind, even though we go through mental battles, but that's the condition of this battle, okay? Because that is good set against evil, and we're in chains of darkness. But, what I want to speak about is how Babylon, when you look at it in a whole, the culture, the image, the wine, it is all constructed to indoctrinate you, to westernize you, to take you. All right, it wants your brain, it wants your body, it wants your soul. Okay, and you can see that on the everyday workplace. All right, the culture, and I want to sum it all up. Let me make sure the audio is good. All right, I want to sum it all up pretty much with Daniel, the 3rd chapter. Now, I don't think I'm going to go into all of it, but this is a very good example. This is ancient Babylon, by the way. We are in modern day Babylon, the Virgin Daughter, the Great, all right, which is here in America. Okay, it's a spirit. It's a spirit. It's a system. It's a demonic bubble, and you can feel it. You can feel it in the workforce. You can feel it in certain settings. You can feel it when you're out and about. And this is why the scriptures talk about follow not a multitude to do evil. Let me actually get that. So we are actually exercising our spiritual right of holiness. Okay, and that's what you're doing. We're not as they call introvert. I'm a people person. I'm a people person. I'm a generally happy person, but we are in captivity. Okay, and there's a lot of wickedness that really just keeps us sober. I'll admit that. This is Exodus 23:2. It says, "Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil." So one thing that I notice is this place really wants your mind. It wants your mind when you're at work. It wants you to be fully invested. It don't matter if you have a family. Your family's getting indoctrinated. Your woman's off working her shift. Who knows what the hell she's dealing with over here? You got your children. You can't raise them. They're being indoctrinated over there. And then you're over here just isolated, trying to still be, who you are. And there's a constant demonic demand of, inclusion. Okay. And that's not what we're here for. We're not here to be included. That's why Jake got wrapped up in that equality. That whole equality scheme, that's exactly what it was. It was a scheme, a ploy, and a plan that really degenerated our people, because when you made us equal to you, you actually lessened our value as who we are as a people. We're actually numero uno. Okay. We are above all nations, as the scriptures say. So it says, "Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment." Right. So watch your mouth. Now let me go to a different translation. Let's see. Yep. "When you are called to testify and dispute, do not be swayed by the crowd to twist judgment." And that's exactly what this place wants to do. It wants to twist your thought. It wants to twist your reasoning. Like, I'll use just a simple, common example is look at modern day women like you sisters coming back to who you're supposed to be. Now, the general public will want to bash you for being your spiritual makeup, you know, who you're actually supposed to be serving under your husband. That will be bashed by social norms. And that's really what I'm trying to pull out in this lesson, is to show you the wine of Babylon wants you. It wants your brains. It wants your body. It wants your soul. It wants your devotion. It wants you to worship it. You know, you get a job and it's like, now you're supposed to worship Burger King. You get a corporate setting and now nothing else matters but this deadline and this email and this forwarded and this meeting and blah. And then everyone fakes and smiles. Everyone says, how are you? And no one means it. No one means it. You know, no one means it. You know, I joke, I said that to someone yesterday. They said, how are you? I said, do you really mean that? Now, I'm very careful at work while reading spirits and people and seeing who you can kind of so-called push the envelope, which I don't recommend, but we're social creatures. So I jokingly said it and he laughed because they know it's true. See, there's a lot of things that we know that they know, but they don't have the spirit to stand up or call it out. Okay. So now let me keep going. This is a very good precept to start with. And then let me just show you this. So now going into follow not a multitude. All right. And I got a few things I want to show you, not trying to take up too much of your time, but it's just pressed on my spirit to out this wicked, chaotic, confusing culture of company. All right, that Babylon business runs by. All right, and it wants your brain. Babylon wants you to serve them. Esau wants you to serve him. There's a demonic demand that these people are possessed in, and we're not bowing to it. Okay, we're not bowing to it, and I'm always wanting to out it. And here in our camp, we have a running joke that I might be Benjamin, but you know, it's just our spirit. You know, we're against this place spiritually because it is wicked. So now what I want to do is I want to show you something. So right here, I'm going to give you a summary. So in the ancient Babylon, which is modern day Iraq, if I'm not mistaken, you had this king Nebuchadnezzar who created a physical a golden statue, like a literal idol, right? And this is what I want you to see. So when they created it up, look, he set it up, the plain of Dura, and he didn't set it up. A king isn't going to lift his hands. He has hired workers. And that's one thing that Babylon does. It underpays you. And then if you have a problem with it or you stand up, they'll fire you legally. And then they'll find someone else to do your job and better and less pay. Okay. So it says he set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, set up to gather together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the province to come to the dedication of the image, this idol, which Nebuchadnezzar, the king, had set up. Now look at this. So look, watch. And it says, then the princes, the governors and captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers, right? Your department managers, your human resources, your operational managers, your security, you know, you name it. All right. The lunch ladies, the lawyers, the judges, all these people around you are systematically set up to this demonic demand that Babylon has produced through prophecy. And you can watch it. It's almost like the scene in the movie, The Matrix, when Morpheus said, these people are not ready to be unplugged. So you have to understand you're dealing with people that are plugged in. Okay. And our problem is we've been unplugged. And I've noticed that, like, I see why you need days off. That's why having the Sabbath is a blessing. Now we even have to work. It's a Sabbath right now. You know, it's a Sabbath right now, and you still got to go to work. You know. So, anyways, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I will say this. I want to say this for you brothers and sisters out there that work. And what kind of job you have. Hey, know your rights. Know your labor law rights in your state. Know what is legal and illegal. Because one thing that I've learned is when you use certain babble, okay, when you use certain jargon, they have to abide by it. So a lot of times, brothers, and you few sincere sisters, a lot of times the bullshit that you deal with, it's because you're ignorant to what you are allowed and what they're allowed to do. Okay, like today, I'll tell you, I use sick time. Fuck that. I'm not going into work. I'm not being rebellious. All right. I'm thankful to have a job, but I'm going to use the world, okay, with wisdom. Remember, you got to attack carnality with spirituality. Don't crash out. Don't get emotional. Don't act niggerish. Be professional. So if you act professional, they are required by law to have a certain standard they got to keep too. All right. And that's what the Holy Spirit has been giving us over here. This new intellect, all right, of understanding that what we have as Roman citizens, like Apostle Paul did, because we're in Rome revival. So you have rights. All right. So don't let Babylon babble you, man. Okay. Do not let it break you. Do not let it crash you out. Understand that you have rights and they have obligations they have to live by too. And I love using that against them when I have to. All right. I'm not out here looking, to do anything more than I need to. I'm just trying to make it. I'm just trying to go home. But this is what I'm observing in my walk. A man who much travel gains experience. So this is what I'm gaining in my experience to move forward with my day. So let's continue. It says, and all the rulers of the province were gathered together unto the dedication of the image. Right. Make sure you go to work. Make sure you do this. Put your right hand in the flag. Oh my God, he kneeled at the anthem. So you could see how people react when you're not conforming to social norms. See that? Even when in my early walks, I don't do it now, but people used to make fun of me because I wore fringes. Like, yeah, because it's not normal. They think it's strange that you run not with them. Your beard's unkept. You don't have an edge up. This, that. It's odd to them because they're indoctrinated. They're westernized. They're Babylonized. And Babylon don't have our brain. Okay? Now, I always do this, but it came to mind. Babylon I brought this up before, but this is a great song that I always listen to. I like Benjamin. Hey, I might be a Benjamin. I'm just glad I'm an Israelite. But right here, it's called Babylon use them brain. True to them, one down ghetto use them fee go down the drain. So this song is about Babylon must burn and how Babylon wants your brain, uses your brain, indoctrinates you. And you can see that on our people. Something simple as dyeing your hair blonde. That is a example to show you what they mentally feel about themselves. All right. So let me keep going from where I lose my point. I have so much to say, but let's do it in order. It says, of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up, and they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then an herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages. See, this is what Babylon has done through the wine. Now, let me get that real quick. Revelations 18. This is what Babylon has done. 64% of currency is through the US dollar, or should I say the Federal Reserve note. You can't even call it a dollar because a dollar is equivalent to a unit of silver, and it's not even backed by silver and gold anymore. So this Federal Reserve note is now pushed throughout the world, which is going digital, which also, if Babylon wants your brain, you can see how Babylon is also going to mark you with the MOTB or your brain in your hand. So let me show you real quick. The wine, okay? This is Rev 18:3. For all nations have drunk of the wine. See, for all nations, like ancient Babylon said, all nations and language. You gotta. What is the wine? It's their doctrine. It's their philosophy. It's their ideology, and they want you drunk. That's what Babylon wants. Babylon wants you drunk. It doesn't want you a sober servant to your Lord. It wants you as a drunken demonic vessel that is just going to be thrown into the crowd at another fucking Drake concert or whoever's trending right now. That's what Babylon wants, brothers. It wants your brain. It wants you drunk. It wants you indoctrinated. It wants your children. It wants to devour you. And it says, for all nations have drunk of the, and then these people do it, because I used to say years ago, I'm like, man, this place is wicked, it's evil. Now I looked around, I'm like, it's not necessarily the landmass, it's the people within the landmass. This is why this place has to be completely decimated, burned, vanquished, wiped off the map, as one would say, because if not, there's going to be some vain vessel that's going to stand up and try to reenact or recreate this Babel bar of Babylon before you and mix a cocktail of confusion and tell you to drink with your nose plugged. Hell no. I'm tired of the wine of Babylon. Me don't want it no more. It says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, the dollar. Okay, like real quick, I got a lesson cooking up, but I'll just say it in the midst. Like when you look at Psalms 83, right? A few brothers out there that are teaching, you're of the same doctrine, the same cloth of understanding. When you look at Psalms 83, every single one of those heathens that are mentioned after Esau, you can look at a world event and world relations to add into it. Like it says Ammon, right? In Psalms 83, well, you can use a trilateral commission, which is, I believe, America, West Africa, and Japan. Then when you go down Amalek, what's that? The Balfour Declaration, 1984. Then you look at Ishmael. What's that? That's the Desert Storm, Iraq, Afghanistan, 9/11. So you can see how the nations have been conformed one way or another to Babylon through its ideology or through, as it says, its wine. Okay. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So everybody, okay, in Babylon is having a stake, something that they can benefit off of. You see? So Babylon wants you indoctrinated so it can keep the money flowing, so it can keep the dollar growing, so it can keep remaining in power. All right. That's why I said command. It's a commandment. Babylon has a commandment for you to live under, and we don't want to live under that no more. We don't want Babylon no more. See, this is why this the baptism is through the word. All right. Yeah, you could dunk in water, but is that really going to change you in the spirit? You are baptized in the spirit through the word, through a process of your ups and downs, you're being educated, having the Holy Spirit. These are things that you need so that you can be washed from the drunkenness that Babylon produces. And it wants your brain. It wants you to want it. It wants you to desire it. Remember, that's what John the Revelator, he was wandering after, and then the angel had to snap him out of it. That's what this place had. This place has a spiritual, demonic desire. Okay, real quick, look. All right, let me see. I just want to get the point because it just, where it says, where is it? Yeah, see, it says, why do you marvel? All right, let me see real quick. Let's just read it down. Let me see. It says, Rev 17:2, it says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. That's why Ammon or Moab comes here and they're taking pictures of niggas on the sidewalk. Excuse me for saying it like that, but it's like everything's a tourist attraction to them. This place is very alluring to people. Okay. And it says, let me see. I just want, right here, verse 17, it says, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. The saints are us. Remember, Psalms 50 and verse 5, we are the only people that made a covenant with Yahweh through blood sacrifice. Okay, this is why Esau now wants you to make blood covenant sacrifices with him on the left hand side, and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahweh Shai. And when I saw her, I wandered with great admiration. So people have a spirit to wonder after this place with great amazement, with complete, oh, wow. Oh, my gosh, that's amazing. See, this place has got people completely drunk with vanity and idolatry. Okay, it's man worshiping the creature more than the creator. Now from there, I believe I built my foundation enough for you to see where I'm trying to go with this. Because a lot of times when we're inspired in the spirit, we also are being inspired to, to reciprocate this, to explain this to you. It's like explaining a feeling. So with education, obviously. So I looked this up. I didn't even know this was a thing. So I said, what does it mean Babylon wants your brain? The phrase Babylon wants your brain is a symbolic warning related to interpretations of Babylon in biblical prophecy, right? Like something as simple as the culture of rap and adultery. That's Babylon having your brain. The fact that you think that's another notch on your belt to pop another man's woman, and as if like that's a accolade that you add to you being a man. You're drunk, man. Babylon's got your brain. Or a woman, a Jake woman, her body and shaking it for likes and views. Babylon's got your brain. Years ago, Kanye West said it. He said, Instagram's got your bitch. And really what he was saying, which I think Kanye's Benjamin too, I'm not sure, but what he was really saying is that's what Babylon does. It takes you, okay? It takes you, it breaks you, it spiritually grapes you, man. That's what this place has done. And you could see it on people. Like, what was that song by Lil Wayne? She used to be the sweetest girl ever. Now, I never actually sat down and listened to that song. And I actually saw the music video. That shit damn near made me cry. I said, this is terrible. This place is terrible, man. We need to be delivered. We need to be delivered out of the grasps of this demonic net that's over us that we're constantly fighting against, not to be indoctrinated. I constantly got to put not interested. Don't want it. Block. Report is drunk. Scam. Drunk. I meant to say junk, but see, drunk. Scam likely. It's a constant grabbing upon you. Like you go into Walmart. It's fucking Halloween. Then now it's Easter, and then it's Christmas, and it's Thanksgiving, and it's that, and it's like, God damn, this shit just don't stop. Babylon, it just don't stop, man. And then you deal with the people, they have energy for it. They have energy to smile and look at you like you're tripping because you're not devoted enough. What was that movie, Office Space? He said, you don't got enough flair. And it's like, bitch, I came in, I did my job. What else do you want? Oh, you want my soul. You want my spirit. You want my brain, you know? Like, that's what I even see even at my job. It's like, you hired me for a task, but now you're complaining not of the task that I did, but how I'm doing it, or how fast it's, or how it should be taking me longer. It's like, so they really want you just in servitude. They don't want you to just work. They want to see you work. You see that? They don't want you to bow. They want you to reverence when you bow. See? But the Lord has reserved 7,000 men that shall not bow a knee to the image of Baal. So take that shit, man. Shalak Mashapayim on this wicked ass place. We got our God back. We got our Savior. See? It says, it suggests, let's read this. It suggests that a system or entity represented by Babylon seeks to control and corrupt your mind, thoughts, belief, and understanding. Is that not exactly what it's doing? The spirit of Babylon. It wants your brain. It wants you indoctrinated. I always quote it. My girl, what was her name? She made that song, Quarrels. Let me look it up. All right. Since I got the spirit on me to add these points. What's her name? Adem. I can't remember. She used to be with Jay-Z. She said, you want me drunk and high. You want to put a chip in me. Here goes my girl right here. I hope she's doing well. You know, she got out of the system. You know, she's a Jake. She knows what's up. Look right here. I've read this before. It just came to my mind, so I'm just going to hit it real quick. It says, yo, ever since I knew you, you've been out to get me, Babylon. Acting like my peeps, but I know that's how you trick me, Babylon. Love to see me get high. Love to see me tipsy, Babylon. This is Esau. Esau is the captain on the boat of Babylon, but that boat is sinking. It says, heard you even want to stick a little chip in me. Who you think she heard that from? The prophets. You've been trying to play me close ever since my shine. Want to take me to dinner. Feed me shrimp and swine, Babylon. This is why they give you pork. This is why they give you things that are accessible easily, but they're against your culture, your identity, your nation, your heritage. Everything that we're easily accessible to get is really a sin. A lot of shit that's out here is for you to be evil, wicked, and sin, man. Okay? And it wants your brain. Look, let's get a little more, actually. It says, his name is money, and we partners to the end of time. Introduce me to your clique. Hate, envy, lust, and greed. Said you want the whole world in your custody. Job 9:24. But that's prophecy. Got the earth drunken. And if I give you my soul, you'll give me luxuries. But what shall a man gain? Let's grab that. What shall a man gain being in corporate America? What shall a man gain shaving his beard just to get ahead at the office, for the office, you know? Right here, red letter. I love putting red letter on. Mark 8:36, right here. Okay, actually, let's start at 34. It says, and when he had called the people unto him with his disciples also, he said unto them, whosoever will come after me, let him deny himself. Right. But you denying yourself is really you denying Babylon. Let's say that again. You denying yourself is really you denying Babylon. Put that together, man. Okay. You ain't missing out on nothing. You're actually being protected. It says, and take up his cross and follow me. So we're carrying our cross. But Babylon is saying, no. We want you to bow to us. We want you to serve us. And they say it in indoctrinal corporate jargon Babylon ways. Watch them. All right. It says, so watch your job, man. Watch that demand of that job. Okay. Watch things that are trying to pull you away from your servitude. You got to be careful. It can be used through money, resources, your income, as in finances and jobs, daily life, family requirements. Babylon is incorporated in everything. That's what the Matrix is. It's Babylon. It's Babel. Remember the screen falling with numbers? You couldn't tell what it is because it's confusion. It's Babylon. It says, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it. Yeah, you're going to get fired. Okay, you devoted your life to this job. You say you couldn't do this. You say you couldn't do that. And guess what? It was all in vanity. You know, anytime I go for a job, I always explain how my Saturdays are taken up. Now, you can work around it, but don't ever let the job make the truth work around that. No, the job's got to work around the truth. Okay. And you apply wisdom too. Don't crash out. Apply wisdom. All right. It says, I'm excited. But whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel's, the same shall save it. For what shall it profit a man if he shall, if he shall gain the whole world? And guess what? The whole world you gained is a world that's against your God. Let me show you that real quick. The world that you just gained, the world that you just gained, 1 John 5:19, is evil. Why the fuck, why would I want, look, 1 John 5:19, and we know that we are of Yahweh, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. So why would you want to gain a world while that world is against your God, your Savior, and is wicked? It says, love not the world, but now you're going to, you think you're profitable because you are gaining something in a temporal world? Hell no. But that's what Babylon wants. It wants to trick you with that indoctrination so that you can serve it, and it has no problem giving you these amenities. Esau don't have a problem giving you women, clothes, and cars. That's nothing. He wants something more than that. See? For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? See? Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation. We are surrounded by adultery and a sinful generation. All these people wicked, man. Okay? All these people. I know you brothers see. I've seen women like bitch, you an adulterer. Leave me alone. I walk away from people. I don't do it in a obvious manner. I apply a lot of wisdom to wiggle around the adultery and the sinfulness and the wickedness. See? It says, of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he cometh in his glory of his Father with his holy angels. Right. All I'm picturing is some bald-headed Jake in a buttoned up. Let me see. Watch this. Black, bald businessman screaming. That's all I see in my head. It's just some Jake. See, like, no, I should have stayed in the truth. See? When Yahushua returns, do you want to look like this when Yahushua returns? What do you say? Is this you? Is this what you want to be when Jesus comes back? I'm being funny, but you know what I'm saying? Is this what you want to fucking look like? Because this is what the world wants to turn you into, brothers. Okay? Or a hoe out, ball weave having nigga woman. Is that what you want, sisters? Because that's what he wants to do. He wants to turn you out. He wants your brain and turn you out. You got to be careful. You got to be wise. Okay. So now from there, let's get this. Deuteronomy 28:68. I had a whole different angle I was going to go with this lesson, but it's the Spirit. It's the Holy Spirit. We can only do what we're inspired to do. So Deuteronomy 28:68, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. We are in Egypt again. And while in Egypt, there is servitude, there is bondage, there is requirements, there is indoctrination, and we're witnessing and watching it in real time, even though we're so-called free. All right? And it says, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Because remember, according to our laws, you could buy a Hebrew servant out of servitude. So our Savior is Yahushua. And that's one thing when you look around, can't no one save themselves. Firemen can't save themselves from fire. Police can't save themselves from criminals. These people can't save themselves. A doctor can't save himself from his own heart attack. So when you look around, these people are delusional. These people, they don't think if they get in their car, it's just going to blow up. These people have too much, they have too much of a benefit of doubt of Babylon working for them. That's the problem. There's always this self-saving spirit of assumption that these all people have collectively. And it's odd, it's weird, but it's also human nature because man is vain by nature, what sets us apart as a people and in the spirit. See? So right here, we've been put into slavery. We're still in slavery. So what I did was, let me show you first. So I said, how were African-American slaves indoctrinated on the plantation, comparing how an employee is indoctrinated as a new hire for a job? See that? For some reason, I just hear hands clapping. It's like hands clapping, like exactly. See, our people that have no idea that what they're dealing with and going through, it's right in the scriptures. We have the truth. We are free now in the spirit. So this is why we have issues with which is cultural norms today, even though they're wrong and they're wicked. It says, this is a powerful and complex question that touches on system of control, ideology, wine, right? And adaptation to authority. Comparing the indoctrination of Judites, African-American slaves on the plantation with the orientation of modern employees and job can help reveal how power systems operate. Although it's crucial to recognize the vast difference, blah, 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 blah. All right. So anyways, look, slavery, employment, to break the will, To break the will, enforce total submission and conditions enslave people to accept their status as property. That's literally employment. Now let me see. To integrate employees, culture, blah blah blah. Let me explain it. Look, I'm going to use just this side. When you go to work, do they not break your will? Do they not make you get up when you want to? Who the fuck wants? Excuse me. Who wants to get up at 7 a.m. be there at 7 a.m. to be doing a job until 4 p.m. And then you get a so-called break. You get 15 minutes to chew down your food if you get that. Okay, your mind is completely for this job, whatever it is. That's breaking your will. Enforce total submission. You can't come in late. You can't call off sick. You're not. Their job's not even legally required to give you vacation time. Okay, look, and condition enslave people to accept their status. You got to accept you're a cashier. You got to accept you're a cook. You got to accept you're a janitor. You got to accept you're a dishwasher. And you better fucking love it. And you better smile while our customers are walking through the store. See, that's slavery. No. That's employment. That's why it's called Babel. See how he takes something as slavery and says, no. That's a job. See? Methods of indoctrination, violence and fear. You're constantly being told that you could get fired. Okay. Physical punishment, threats, terror used to install obedience. And now they do that legally. They do it through policies. They do it through write-ups. You see, they do it through mystery. You know, let me see what else they got. Dehumanization. Go look at a Jake that has to clean bathroom. That's not dehumanizing. That's not fucking, excuse me. That's not dehumanizing. Having to go clean a bathroom after your enslavers' ancestors are walking through the same halls and you got to clean up their shitty toilets. That's not dehumanizing. Only giving Jake certain positions of a low quality. That's not dehumanizing. See? They want your brain, man. This place wants your brain. Look, surveillance. At the job I work, do you know they audio and video record me? Do you know that they audio and video record me? That's surveillance. The wicked watcheth the righteous and seeketh to slay him. And what's it say? Pretty much a man that is fired, you kill him. See? Psychological. Look, trauma and learned helplessness, just like a job. Repeated abuse and control tactics led many to accept subjugation as inevitable. Role condition. Employees may internalize corporate values, shaping their sense of identity and self-worth around work. You ever see someone change? I've been at a job where I've watched someone come in who was new, and then a week later they act like they've been there longer than me. I said, oh, they're drunk. You're drunk. They got your brain. You could just point and look how you can point and see whose brain Babylon's got. Okay, let me see what else I got for you. Look, Baruch 3:8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, but they want your brain though. See, you could work, but there's something else that they want more than just your labor. You see that? There's something underneath the carnality of labor that is a spiritual, mental captivity that they want you to stay in. And they use fear, mystery, policies, these kind of attacks. All right, which even in the legal world, that's considered violations according to certain labor laws like harassment. What else is it? Retaliation, threats. There's all legal Babylon terms that Esau is in violation of. But if you don't know it, he capitalizes off it. Babylon capitalizes off the ignorance of the brain of the people. What did Trump say? I love my poor educated people. This is why public schooling was a #1 tool that they use to get you, dumb you down, put you in a low lethargic state so you don't wake up and say, hold on, wait a minute. This shit is wrong. See? All right, let's keep going. It says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity where thou hast scattered us for a reproach, dehumanization, and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power. See? So we're subject to payments. We have all these inequities. We're under the curses. We're also treated as a reproach. And to this day, we are still in captivity. We are still in slavery. Now, let me see real quick. I want to go down here. I want to show you something. Oh, look, final thought. While both systems use indoctrination to align individuals with a larger goal, one is rooted in coercion and dehumanization. The other is insensitivized participation. No, by force. We have partition. We have partition in Babylon by force because we're subject to payments. Okay, I bet if someone went around and did a study and asked people that work minimum wage jobs, asked them, is this their dream job? Why do they have this job? It's the same reason why Jake was saying, why did he join the army? Because they wanted a Hellcat. Okay, the comparison is useful to analyze power and control, but they exist on an opposite moral spectrum. I could say yeah, but I'm also going to say no because they also furthered our affliction, and now the slavery is with pen. Let me see what else here. Okay, then I said, show me the comparison between chattel slavery and modern employee workforce. So I kind of did the same thing, which we just read. So I don't want to necessarily go into this, but I do want to go down into, what did it say? Slavery was a system of radicalized human ownership. It was involuntary, violent, and stripped people of all agencies. Yeah, that's work today. That's work today. It says modern employment, though sometimes exploitive, especially in capitalism or global labor systems, is structured around contracts, laws, and mutual obligations. That doesn't mean that it's righteous, though. That we can all raise our spiritual hand here and say that the average workforce in Babylon is effing wicked. All right. If I had a young son, I'd say you have the permission to say the F word. See, look, now I ask this. Why do companies in America train you to be completely devoted to your job more than your personal life? Great question, and one that taps into deep cultural, economic, and historical issues in America work life. See, we ask AI for things that are edifying. We use AI for things that Esau has hid from us. Okay. So you can use AI to put your foot in the door in places that he's shut. All right. So let me see. Let me get some precepts though. This is Baruch, this is 2 Corinthians 10:3. I'm going to go to verse 5 and then NLT. It says, we are human, but we do not wage war as humans do. See? So even though it's business, it's not personal. You got to apply that too. Okay. Because one thing I noticed when a job is doing something wrong, I noticed there was a thought like, well, maybe they'll get it together. F that, bro. You got to understand these people are animals, and an animal will go as far as the leash will let them. Okay, you have to apply wisdom in this spiritual warfare that we're involved in. You're not just going to walk around with your hands in your pocket avoiding people. You're going to have to step up. You're going to have to apply wisdom. You're going to have to be prepared, because if not, that's where they capitalize. Remember when Esau, proclaiming himself to be the Greeks and the Maccabees, waited till it was a Sabbath to attack us? Yeah, that's your enemy. That's the kind of guy you're dealing with. And as long as you keep keeping yourself in the silent suffering spirit, he's going to keep capitalizing over you. We are not carpets. We are not carnal, but we do have wisdom. We have rights, and you have to apply certain things in certain situations. We pray, we have faith, hope, and mercy, but we also have to apply wisdom, because wisdom is the best weapons in war. Okay? Wisdom is better than weapons of war. And if you don't use it, you'll lose it. All right? That's why I use my sick time. I ain't sick. I'm sick and tired of this place, but I ain't sick. Okay. See, you gotta learn what you can use here so this place doesn't break you, because that's what it wants. Do not think that Babylon is required to be loyal to you, but it makes you, indoctrinates you, and teaches you for you to be loyal to them. So be aware of that. It says we use Yahweh's mighty weapons, right? The word is sharper than a two-edged sword. We use Yahweh's mighty weapons, not worldly weapons, to knock down the strongholds of human reasoning and to destroy false arguments. See? So you really got to understand what this truth is. I'm understanding, okay, more why Yahweh Shai said the kingdom's within us, because we are the kingdom. So why would you hide wisdom that's been commanded to rest over you? Okay. See, this place wants you to react carnally because you are ignorant of certain rights, roles, legal obligations. And then you find out, damn, that was a lawsuit. Now, I'm not saying you'll do it, but there's certain situations that can happen. Okay. There's like us calling the cops if someone interrupts our church service on the public street. And then if the cop doesn't do his job as a public servant, like Elder Pastor said, you can get his name and his badge number, and now you have a civil lawsuit. We're not looking for that, but these are things that can happen to people fucking with us. I just got to say it in that manner, okay? So I've been using ChatGPT for all type of things. What are my legal rights here in New York State? Can my boss blah 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 this? My blah blah blah, and it gives me all this information, all these codes, all these things that I never knew even existed. But that's because the Lord is allowing us to tap into wisdom and to use it as defense. So defend yourself against Babylon trying to take your brain. Okay? Let me see what else I got for you. Colossians 2:8 in the KJV. Let's see. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy, wine, Babylon, drink more. Come to the office party. You don't have enough flair. Trying to call you off hours. Stop feeling so obligated to Babylon, man. Okay? Stop feeling so obligated to Babylon. You know what wisdom is? Wisdom is you standing up for what's right without showcasing your hand carnally. So when it's like court. You got to treat everything like court. Okay, you have to. If you keep thinking you're gonna be real, then they got you. That's one thing I had to learn. Being real is actually showing your hand. You can't let the left hand know what the right hand's doing. Okay, you're not being fake. You're not being phony. You're being wise. Okay, I'm around people that I'm disgusted with, that I know are evil, that I know are trying to fire me, that have actually spoken against me, even getting promotions, but I still smile to them. I still ask them if they need anything. That's wisdom, brothers. Don't let Babylon get your brain. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the traditions of men, Babylon, traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Hamashiach. See, this place wants to devour your brain. It wants you devoted to it. It wants you to bow. And guess what happened? You had Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego that didn't want to bow. And then what happened? They got thrown in the fire. Or today, they got fired. They call it fired, terminated. See? So you got to watch these things. Which of these men were not thrown? Daniel. Daniel wasn't thrown there. It was Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. See? Boom. Daniel. Okay, let me see what else I got for you. I believe that's everything I wanted to give for you. Let's just make sure. Yeah, so I looked up work-life balance. You can look these things up. I'm not going to go into everything. I don't want to make this lesson too long. We're already 40 minutes and counting. But when you look in these things, you'll find out a lot of things that Babylon is required to live by too. So stop silently suffering. Stop it. All right? Defend yourself with wisdom. Defend yourself with wisdom. All right, so I'm going to end it there. I truly pray that this lesson was edifying. It was comforting. It was enlightening, and I pray that Yahushai's sheep are being fed ultimately. So with that being said, I just want to say, Kol Halah, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, and double honors to my elders, bishops, and apostles of Great Millstone that do well, and peace, safety, and salutations to the Lord's elect. With that being said, Shalom.